Welcome. I sincerely want to welcome everybody here. I first want to thank Dave Ratcliffe and his team that he put together to put this wonderful event on. Thank you, Dave, and everybody that helped. I want to also thank Pastor Allie for allowing me to host this event here this evening. As many of you know, there's a patchwork of mandates in the state with masking, and one of the things that we really wanted to do was make masks optional for this evening, and that's why I removed it from my alma mater. Bristol Eastern, by the way, we already mentioned Central, so I'm playing good political mayor stuff. So Bristol Eastern's my alma mater, and hopefully we'll be there in future years. I want to first thank the outgoing people who have served our city for the last 4 years, in some cases longer in others. I had a very gracious, great meeting with the current mayor and administration, and the transfer of power is something that we all cherish in our democracy, so I want to thank everybody that has served. I want to also congratulate our City Council, Board of Education, and Board of Assessment Appeals candidates that are now elected. So, I got some good friends that live down the street, got a good-looking woman with her arms around me, live in a small town where it feels like home. I've got everything I need and nothing that I don't. Zach Brown. In 2020, the RTC changed its motto to Neighbors Helping Neighbors. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the good friends that live down the street. I met quite a few people walking doors this year. My favorite job was talking to people, and I see many familiar faces here that I met on the campaign trail. But I want to speak about the local connections that we made this year. Myself and the team that is elected put a lot of work and hours into that. So first, let me talk about a lady named Lorraine, who last Monday, I knocked her door, and I knocked on her door. The storm door was there, but it was open, and she waved at me and said, go away, I don't want any. She thought I was selling something. And then I said, but it's election day tomorrow. You need to vote in local elections. She goes, I don't vote, go away. And I looked at her and said, how could you not vote in a local election? Whatever face I must have made must have, pushed her to get up. She came to the door. We talked for 20 minutes. She told me that not only is she going to vote, but her husband Renee, next to her, who hadn't voted in years, is going to go out and vote. And sure enough, Renee got out and voted in his polling place. And Lorraine called me from City Hall, did an election day registration, and did a bullet vote for Jeff Caggiano. Sorry, Pastor. Along the campaign trail, I also saw individuals who voted for the first time, but went through the normal process to register up front. And I think we have one of them here, Bill and Phil. Those rhyme, that's why I picked them. There were probably many others. In Bill's case, he registered, he went and voted for the first time, and I'm proud to have gotten his first vote. There's also a Phil who registered for the first time and voted by absentee ballot for the first time in his life for me, and that's an honor, and I think a lot of that happened this year. Two more examples of what I think signifies what happened this year is we had Justin, who I did see earlier. Justin is an individual who has really worked hard to bring his life back to meaning and volunteered for the first time on a campaign. And it's with heartfelt thanks, Justin. I think he's out in the back. I saw him. There he is. That I appreciate everything that you have done. Now, I'm already making my first political mistake. You can't call one person out, you got to call them all. But Justin, for me, represented that first-time volunteer spirit that so many people had, and I love his can-do attitude, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Finally, I don't know if Linda Vasquez is here, but many of you might have seen the video. Linda. She made a video for me, and really, I hope, connected me to more people. Certainly, my Spanish isn't that good, but Linda not only translated the words, but she also translated the feeling of what's going on. And thank you very much, Linda. So we can't forget the people that heard our message and voted for change. And we shouldn't ignore those people that didn't vote for us. But I did a lot of that to say that 35% of the registered voters in this town came out and voted. And that's with no excuse absentee balloting available. I believe that we need to continue to engage people locally. You guys have heard me talk about that. I hope you hear me talk about it for 2 more years. Just a couple other quick points about the election, which is interesting to me, and why we need to engage our neighbors down the street. We voted no to an appointed treasurer, and thank God we have a great treasurer in Dave Pileski. But this is 2 years in a row now, voters have voted no. We also rejected a 4-year term for the registrar as a voter. And for me, that speaks to something, and it's really a lack of trust in government, and something that I think we can change locally, and I'm going to work very hard to do that in the next couple of years. All right, this is the best part, so now let's talk about a good-looking woman with her arms around me. I want to thank my wife, Sherry. Thank you for putting your faith in me. I also want to thank the rest of my family that's here. I'm not going to single any of you out this time, but I want to encourage you to have faith and stick with me. There'll be lots of ups and downs, and we'll deal with them. Finally, I want to again thank all the volunteers that made this happen. Thank you all for all the hard work you did to get us up here. Thank you. So, live in a small town where it feels like home. I can't imagine how many times this year I said that Bristol is a great, big, small town. I'm sure you've all heard that. They say all politics is local, and people of Bristol, I think, agreed with that big, small town mentality. And what I take from this is they don't want Bristol to change. They want to keep it a big, small town. Republicans swept the city council and took a supermajority on the Board of Education, in a small part that may be due to some of the breakdowns that we have at the national level. But we took our local policy issues to our neighbors, and a majority of those people wanted Bristol to remain that big, small town. One of the other things I said quite a bit on the campaign trail was a quote from JFK's 1961 inauguration. I don't think I'm Camelot, by the way, but he did say 60 years ago, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. At Doors, I think many people agree that that type of mentality doesn't resonate with government officials today. It's not across the board, but that's just kind of a general feeling that people have. So that brings me to kind of the last line. Let's talk about, I've got everything I need and nothing I don't. Bristol voters reacted to our campaign messages of wasteful government spending. Bristol's weary of mandates and restrictions, and they don't want people to solve problems that don't really exist. We need to restore individual freedoms, self-reliance, and hold government accountable for the basics. departments, that's education, essential public works, and public safety. Thank you guys for your service. So I am blessed. There is a ton going on in Bristol, and I do want to again thank the outgoing administration. So as a council, we're going to continue to do what makes sense and stop what doesn't. And when I speak of building a better Bristol, I want you all to know that there is incumbent upon us to get things done. But I also want to put a little pressure on all of you out there. Bristol is an all-heart city, but the soul of the city has been missing for a while now. The heart of our city, downtown, is going to be rebuilt, and it's going to be done very quickly, and a lot of thanks to the previous administration that got it started. So when it is built, though, this is where I put the pressure on all of you, we need to advocate for our big, small town. We need to support it just like we supported all of our campaigns. So in closing, I'm honored and humbled to have been elected to this leadership position. I look forward to being a leader who will listen, a leader who will stand up for the will of the people, a leader that will have grace and dignity even when those that disagree are disagreeable, a leader who will do the right thing no matter the political fallout. Thank you, everybody. God bless Bristol, and God bless America.